Yaman. A name that carries fame, passion, and controversy everywhere it's mentioned. From his breakthrough roles in Turkey to his rise as a global star in Italy, he has always lived under the blinding spotlight of both admiration and scrutiny. His fans adore him, the media follows him relentlessly, and his every move becomes a headline. But this time, something different happened. Something that made even his most loyal supporters stop and ask, what really happened? The buzz began when images and clips surfaced online, claiming to show Yaman acting out in a way no one expected. At first, people thought it was just another rumor, another piece of exaggerated gossip. But as the footage spread across social media, it became impossible to ignore. Suddenly, hashtags like #KenYamanCaught and #TheTruthRevealed started trending. Fans were shocked. Critics were quick to judge. And the world wanted answers. So, what exactly did Yaman do? That's where the mystery deepens. Depending on which source you believe, the story takes very different turns. Some tabloids insist that he lost his temper in public, shouting at someone in a heated argument. Others claim it wasn't anger at all, but rather an emotional outburst, tears, frustration, vulnerability laid bare for everyone to see. And then, of course, there are those who say the entire thing was staged, a publicity stunt designed to keep his name on everyone's lips. But no matter which version of the story is true, one fact remains: Yaman was caught in the act, and the world can't stop talking about it. For a man who has carefully built an image of strength, charm, and control, this moment of exposure is shocking. It shows a side of him that fans rarely get to witness, raw, unfiltered, and undeniably human. And that is precisely why it has become such a sensation. Because behind the flawless red carpet appearances and the polished interviews, Yaman is still a man. A man with emotions, flaws, and pressures that the public often forgets. To see him in a vulnerable or controversial moment is to be reminded that fame does not make anyone invincible. As the debate rages on, one question echoes louder than the rest: what really happened that day? Was it a slip of control, a breaking point after years of pressure, or a deliberate act to send a message? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain: this incident has reignited the world's fascination with Yaman, not just as a star, but as a human being caught in the storm of his own legend. The incident didn't just spread across social media, it dominated traditional media outlets as well. Within hours, entertainment programs, newspapers, and online magazines were all running with the story: Yaman was caught acting out, but why? Theories spread faster than facts, and soon the lines between truth and speculation blurred completely. One narrative suggested that the actor's sudden outburst was linked to his personal life. For months, Ken had been at the center of rumors surrounding his relationships. From whispers about his connection to Sarah Bluma in Italy, to the constant speculation about whether he still carried feelings for Demet Özdemir, his private world had become public property. Could it be that the pressure finally became too much? Did the constant intrusion into his heart and personal choices push him over the edge? Another version of events painted a different picture. According to some witnesses, Ken wasn't angry, he was emotional. They described him as overwhelmed, maybe even close to tears. If this is true, then what the world saw wasn't aggression, but vulnerability. And that, in itself, is a revelation. For years, Yaman has been seen as the strong, untouchable leading man, admired for his confidence and charisma. To witness him cracking under the pressure is to glimpse the reality beneath the image, the weight of fame pressing down on him. And yet, there are those who don't buy into either explanation. Cynics argue that the entire event was orchestrated. They point out that just days before, a major promotional campaign for his upcoming project was announced. Could it be that this caught-in-the-act moment was carefully planned to stir buzz and keep his name trending? After all, in the world of show business, no publicity is bad publicity. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear: the fans are divided. Some are heartbroken, feeling like their idol has shown a side they weren't ready to see. They write messages like, "This isn't the Ken we know," and "Please, someone tell us the truth." Others rush to his defense, insisting that everyone has bad days, and that no one should be judged by a single moment. They see him not as a fallen star, but as a human being finally showing his real emotions. The silence from Can himself only fuels the fire. He has not issued a statement, has not clarified the rumors, has not even hinted at his feelings through a cryptic Instagram post. And this silence is powerful. It leaves a vacuum, and in that vacuum, speculation grows. People project their own theories, their own emotions, their own fears onto the situation. In a way, his refusal to speak has made the story even bigger. For the media, this is gold. Every day that passes without clarification is another day of headlines, another day of debates, another day of Yaman being the center of attention. But for the man at the heart of it all, the silence may not be strategy, it may be survival. Sometimes the only way to endure a storm is to say nothing and wait for the world to move on. As the speculation spiraled, the debate among fans grew more intense than ever before. On one side were those who felt betrayed. For them, the image of Yaman was built on perfection, the charming leading man, the disciplined star, the untouchable idol. To see him lose control, whether in anger or emotion, shattered that image. They worried that this incident might tarnish his career, or worse, redefine how the world sees him. But on the other side stood those who saw the situation very differently. They argued that this was precisely what made Can more relatable. He's human, just like us, they said. For them, the incident was not a scandal, but a reminder that fame does not erase humanity. The idea that even someone as admired as Yaman could have a breaking point resonated deeply. Instead of judgment, they offered empathy. Meanwhile, the entertainment press dissected every second of the footage. Analysts replayed the clips frame by frame, examining his body language, the tone of his voice, even the expressions on the faces of those around him. Headlines screamed, "The moment Can snapped," or "Tears behind the star's eyes." Theories grew wilder, mixing real details with imagined ones. At times, it felt less like journalism and more like storytelling, as if the media itself was writing a new chapter in Can's legend. What made the situation even more complicated was the timing. Just as the scandal broke, Yaman was preparing for a major project that promised to elevate his career to new heights. Some industry insiders worried that the controversy would overshadow his work, stealing the spotlight away from what should have been a triumph. Others, however, believed the opposite, that the drama surrounding him would only fuel interest in his upcoming role. After all, controversy attracts attention, and attention often translates into success. In private circles, whispers suggested that Can himself was conflicted. Those close to him hinted that he struggled with the pressure of constantly living under the public eye. For years, he had maintained a carefully crafted image, strong, confident, unshakable. But behind that image, he was still a man carrying the weight of expectations, rumors, and endless scrutiny. The incident, they suggested, was not a performance, but a crack in the armor, a moment when the truth broke through the facade. And yet, despite the chaos, Yaman's silence remained absolute. No interviews, no statements, no denials. This silence only made the story grow louder. Fans begged him to speak, but he refused. Was this silence a calculated move, allowing the world to spin its own narrative while he remained above it? Or was it simply a man's way of coping with being misunderstood? Whatever the reason, the effect was undeniable. Yaman was once again at the center of the global conversation. Love him or criticize him, defend him or doubt him, everyone was talking about him. And that, in the end, is the paradox of stardom. Even when a scandal threatens to break you, it can also make you bigger than ever. As days turned into weeks, the "caught in the act" story refused to die down. Normally, celebrity scandals fade quickly, replaced by fresher gossip. But when it came to Yaman, the story stuck like glue. Why? Because it wasn't just about what happened, it was about what it represented. For years, Yaman has been a symbol of control. He is the man who commands the screen, who dominates interviews, who navigates fame with charisma. To see him falter, even briefly, felt monumental. It was as if the mask had slipped, and for once, the world got a glimpse of the man beneath the star. Fans replayed the moment again and again, searching not just for answers, but for understanding. And yet, the more they searched, the less they found. No new statements, no clear explanations. Just silence. That silence became deafening, echoing louder than any words could. It left room for endless interpretation. Was Ken embarrassed? Was he angry at the way he was portrayed? Or was he making a statement, refusing to give the world what it wanted, keeping his truth to himself? In the midst of this, something unexpected happened. Sympathy began to grow. What started as shock slowly shifted into compassion. People realized that living under a microscope is exhausting. Every move, every glance, every word, dissected, judged, magnified. Maybe Yaman's so-called scandal wasn't a downfall, but simply a reminder that he, too, is human. And that, perhaps, is the real truth revealed. Not whether he shouted, or cried, or staged the whole thing. The truth is that Yaman is not the flawless figure the world sometimes demands him to be. He is an actor, yes. A celebrity, yes. But he is also a man who feels pressure, who faces judgment, who sometimes slips under the weight of it all. For fans, this moment will forever be remembered as the day Yaman was caught in the act. But what was he truly caught doing? Was it losing his temper, breaking down, or playing the media at its own game? Maybe it was none of those things. Maybe, what he was really caught doing, was being himself. And in a world that constantly demands perfection, that may be the most shocking revelation of all. Because when the cameras fade, when the gossip cools, and when the noise dies down, one thing will remain unchanged: Yaman is still at the center of the story. Loved by millions, judged by millions, but never ignored. And whether adored or criticized, one fact is certain: the world just can't look away.